My wife saw some earrings like this on some lady in a town we were visiting. They were made out of polymer clay, like Scupley or Fimo. So I told her I could make her a pair. I actually made a bunch of them. This is what they look like. It's kind of inspired by a piece of candy cane around the side with so what you need for this project is, of course, the clay. The brand I like to use is a Sculpey. There's other brands like Fimo, but I find this is the easiest to mold. And it's real soft. Fimo's a little bit crumbly for me, but it works good too. And then pasta maker comes in handy. You put the clay in there like this, turn the crank, and it flattens it out to uniform thickness. So it helps a lot when you're building your different things. X-Acto knife, you want to make sure it's really sharp so it cuts through the clay without altering the shape of it. And then I like to use a long razor blade like this for when I'm cutting the final pieces. And also maybe a roller or a scrap piece of wood if you want to press something down. You don't need the pasta maker necessarily. You can use like a roller or press it down with your hands, or press it down with this. It just makes it easier. It doesn't cost much. It's about 20 bucks. You can get one somewhere. And then since we're making earrings, we got these pieces for the earrings. It's the posts and then the backs of them. So when we make our finished thing, we're going to glue it onto here, and then it'll make the earring. So you see the design there, and it actually goes through this whole piece here. So we're going to make this, and then what our earring actually is slices of this. So once we make this whole piece, we can just cut a whole bunch of slices to make a whole bunch of different pairs of earrings. And when I show you how to do this, it's the same techniques you can use to make different designs. It's normally how they work with this polymer clay. So you just got to imagine what it looks like on the face here, and then build a cylinder with that design going all the way through. So I'll show you how to do that, and then just use your imagination. You can make different things if you like, but I'll show you the basics, and then also you'll know how to make this, which is a pretty good present. I've just laid out in this diagram how we're going to build the roll. It's not in color or to scale or anything, but just to give you an idea of how it's going to be laid out. Different pieces of clay we're going to shape. So you start in the middle there with the triangle for the tree, and then the trunk, and then gradually build this out to a cylinder. So there'll be pieces here of white clay, and then white here on the bottom and also around the sides. So to sort of make it circular, and then when we roll it out, it'll be a cylinder. Then we'll add a bigger piece of white around here, and this will be alternating red and white around the edges, which will be rolls just placed next to each other, and then we'll roll it out and we'll get a cylinder of uniform picture throughout. So we'll just make slices, and that's how we'll get the earrings. So to make the tree part of it, I'll start with a green piece, roll it out into a cylinder, and then to make it a triangle, the best way I find is to use your fingers like this, your forefinger and thumb, and it kind of makes a triangle, and you're just going to press it on top of it like this, and just cut the ends off here to make it flat. And you can see that there's a triangle for the tree there. So the next step will be to add the trunk on. So what we'll do is we'll stack 2 white strips on top of each other. Then I'll put the brown part for the trunk on top, followed by 2 more of the white strips. Now as you can see, we have white with the brown trunk part in the middle. And we'll take that, put the tree on top like this, and then there you go, you got your Christmas tree part. Now we're going to fill white around it in order to make a rough circular shape, and then we'll roll that out to get the first part. To fill out the rest of the tree part, first roll a cylinder of white clay, pretty thin. You want to be able to fine tune it what you need. Then we're going to cut it the same length as the part we're working on here. We'll just make a bunch of them. Now I'm going to use those pieces to put around here. So I'll put a couple on the side of the tree here. The way you see it's becoming more like a cylinder. So on the side, on the other side. Put another one here. One on the other side. And we're just going to add some on those sides here. The pieces we need for the side are going to have to be a little bit flatter, so after we roll it, we'll just press it down a little bit. Make it more of oblong rather than a cone. I mean a sphere. I'm going to put that on the side there. I just want to make sure along the side of it it's the same, because you know you're going to have the picture, it's going to go all the way through the whole thing, so you want to make sure it's the same on each side. So I just press that to make sure it's straight. Now I'm going to put a piece on the bottom. See, now it's more getting like a cylinder. So what I'm going to do now is, since it's roughly round, I'm going to wrap the whole thing with a thicker piece of white to give it a little cushion there. So there, I got my rectangle. I'm just going to wrap it around here like this. Make sure you press it so it's contacting every part of the cylinder. So I didn't quite make it around the bottom, but that's okay because I already had this piece on the bottom, and that should actually be good for what I need. So you have some hanging off the back here. Just want to kind of trim that out. It's going to be wasted clay most likely. So now I got this. I'm going to want to start rolling it out. Use both hands, go long so that it's uniform. You want to kind of press and mold everything together. You got the tree in the middle there. So I'm going to wrap this with one more thing of white, and then I'm going to make the candy cane looking thing around the edge. And now I've rolled out a bunch of cylinders of red and white to put around the edges of it. The main thing is just to make sure that the cylinders are uniform thickness throughout, and that both the colors are the same thickness. Now you just want to alternate them red, white around the edge. So when you're done, it's like you have it like this. And if it doesn't quite fit together, you can sort of squeeze it a little bit to compact it so you get all the red and white parts touching. And also because you're going to roll this out, so you want to sort of compact it together. So you see how it's sort of starting to look like it there. Now I'm going to lay this flat. I'm going to start to gently roll it. Press everything together, and it's also going to get smaller, so we're going to eventually roll it out to the size of the earring that we need. So we started out with a bigger roll and made the picture we wanted, and then we rolled that down to smaller. So we have the same picture but just smaller. We got that by rolling it down. Now while we're cutting it into the small shapes that we're going to put, glue onto the earring backs, just keep in mind that throughout the roll the picture may change slightly, so it may be bent or a little bit different as you move through it, just because as you roll the clay it may move a little bit differently. So one slice may not necessarily be the same as the other. So if one doesn't look right, and just cut another slice and you can see if that's the better one. But so far they look pretty good. So I'm just going to cut a whole bunch of these and then stick them in the oven. So here I've just cut a bunch of slices, about 30. It's enough to make 15 pairs of earrings. Then I'm going to pop these in the oven. You know, I still have more left too. I could probably make another 15 pairs, but it's just an easy way. You can make a lot if you want to give them to a bunch of people as gifts. So these have been out of the oven for about 20 minutes. They're cool and they've hardened up. Now I'm going to glue the earring back onto them. The best glue I think to use for this is Goop plumbing adhesive. It's really strong glue. It's good for gluing metal, metal to metal, whatever. I mean, it glues anything. It's really good. Wouldn't recommend using hot glue. It's not too strong. I found this works the best for a lot of things. So I'm just going to take a little dab of this, put it on the back of each one here, and then stick the earring back on the back of it. And then it should be done. Alright, so I let the glue dry for about an hour. And here's the finished product with the earring back on it. That's it. Thank you.